Spurs fans, many of you said we should try to get Chris Paul if he becomes available. Well, he's available.
Go, Spurs, go, 'cause the Giants stink.
What is up, San Antonio Spurs fans? Welcome to TSR Sports. Wasn't planning on doing a video today, but so much Spurs news I want to talk about with you guys, and of course, get your opinions on everything that's happened this weekend. So let's, start with the big news that doesn't directly affect our Spurs, but could affect our Spurs. Bada bang. The Warriors have waived Chris Paul. He'll now become an unrestricted free agent once he clears waivers. Golden State had to make a decision whether to guarantee Paul's $30 million salary for next season. Both the Warriors and Paul agreed to push back the guarantee date from Friday to today. The Warriors had attempted to include Paul's contract in a blockbuster deal, including a potential swap with the Clippers for Paul George. I did not know that was floating around there. However, they were unable to pull anything off, so he has now officially been waived. Chris Paul, who turned 39 in May, averaged just over 9 points, under 7 assists, about 4 rebounds, in 26 minutes per game in 58 appearances for Golden State. He had shooting splits of 44, 37, and 83. Paul is a free agent, so Paul is free, to sign with anyone. The Suns are being rumored. The Clippers are being rumored. Another intriguing possibility is our San Antonio Spurs, according to Mark Stein, who says San Antonio has strong interest. I don't know, I'm doing that. The 12-time All-Star could be a natural, if short-term, pick-and-roll partner for Victor Wembanyama. There will undoubtedly be other suitors for the future Hall of Famer. Okay, so you know what? Sure, not for $30 million. Not for $20 million, but if we can get him on a good deal, you know what? This is a vet I'd like to bring to the team as I kind of take a step back and get out of my don't only bring in players that draft mentality. Like, you know what? We just drafted Stephon Castle. He could be a great mentor for him. Plus, I know Paul, I would think, wants a championship, but this is also a chance to mentor a player, play with Wemby, which is priceless, and be coached by Pop. Big question is, would he want to come to San Antonio? And of course, do the Spurs actually want him? This could be fun to watch. If he comes here, hey, I'll be rooting for him. I'm all in. I think we'll find out very soon on that. There's a lot of other news that broke this weekend, so I'm going to pull up the thumbnail real quick, and then we're going to get to a different article that I'll need to address. But first off, let's talk about the moves or non-moves the Spurs have made this week. And you may have already heard, but there's been some things happening with Sandro Mamukelashvili and David Duke Jr. From Pounding the Rock, San Antonio has tendered qualifying offers for Sandro Mamukelashvili and David Duke Jr., making them restricted free agents. As restricted free agents, opposing teams will be able to offer contracts to both players, but the Spurs have the right to match those offers. If an agreement is not made with the Spurs or another team, the players would accept the qualifying offer of $2.7 million for Mamu and $1.9 million for Duke. Dominic Barlow is also eligible for restricted free agency, but there has been no news about the Spurs tendering his deal. So what it looks like now is the Spurs want to keep Mamu, which makes sense. That last stretch of the season, he looked great in there with Wemby. Some even said, could we start him? You know what? He's not a guy I thought of as a starter for our team, but if the chemistry's there with Wemby and they're cooking and they're winning some games like they did at the end of last year, start him. Start him over Julian Champagny. Duke, a little surprised. Looks like they're going to be bringing him back on a two-way contract. And then Dominic Barlow, I thought this is the guy the Spurs were really interested in. The fact they haven't offered him a contract yet kind of surprises me. He showed great improvements last year with his game. But if I remember correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong, Spurs fans, when he was in there with Wemby, it wasn't always clicking. I think maybe it did a little bit at the end of the season, but for the most part, it seemed to be a wonky fit. My memory could be wrong on that, but I feel like when Wemby and him were on the floor, it wasn't quite working. So that might be why maybe they just said, you know what, Barlow's got some ability. We like him. Doesn't work with what we have on the floor. And maybe they're moving on from him. We'll see. And then who's this guy behind me right here? Well, if you haven't heard, we're going to talk about this right now. The San Antonio Spurs have signed, that's not the page I want to bring up. Boop, there we go. Riley Minix, the guard out of Morehead State. I had never heard of him till you guys mentioned him today. Sign him to a Summer League contract. Summer League starts this weekend. I'm going to try to be live for every game because I want to see our young guys. I want to see Stephon Castle in action wearing that Spurs uniform, being the real number 5 for the Spurs. Oh, what, too soon? 6'7", 230 pounds. He'll be, his draft age was just under 24, so he's going to be an older rookie. What do we know about him? Well, Minix is a junior college product, this is his scouting profile, who just finished playing his very first year of Division I basketball. In his first year for Morehead, that's a terrible college name. That's all I'll say. For Morehead State, he nearly averaged a double-double at just under 21 points per game and just under 10 rebounds per game. As a 6'7" forward with high-level shot-making ability, he's one of the most underrated prospects in this draft class when it comes to projected role players. He can really shoot it from deep as he has a smooth shooting stroke with a feathery soft touch. Okay? On the defensive end, he averaged better than a block and steal per game, leveraging his positional size. Minix is an older prospect who doesn't have the high ceiling, but he does have a few traits that should translate well at the NBA level. For teams wanting to add jumbo shooters, and we need shooters, we need some shooting on this team. And it's probably why we re-signed Duke. With NBA-ready frames, Minix would be a great low-risk option. He likely won't be drafted, which he wouldn't, but could be a quality signing. Undrafted free agent signing. We're trying him out in the summer league. Let's see what he has to bring on the table. What do we have to lose? I mean, I saw some pictures of the guy. He's actually quite jacked. So I'm excited. I'm excited for the summer league. I'm really excited to see Castle. As some of you know or may not know, my girlfriend's a UConn fan, and I don't think I saw one men's UConn game. She watched every one of them, and she said Castle was very good at feeding the ball to Don McClean, who's, I believe, about 7'2", getting him lobs, getting the ball. That's going to be his job here. I know he didn't play point. He was not the point guard in UConn, but when he had the ball, he was feeding, sounded like the big guy a lot. And what's his good job going to be here? Feed the big guy. So that I'm very excited for Summer League, and I'm very curious where we're going to be going with who's going to stay and who's going to go. I'm a little surprised. Barlow looks like he's on his way out. Not surprised that Mamu looks like he's staying in. And Duke, I actually forgot he was on the team last year, so he must have shown him something at the end of the season. And hey, rooting for all the guys that are coming back. For the guys, if they don't come back, so be it. And Chris Paul, you know, I've been lukewarm on that. But I think having a veteran come in and teach the young guys, mentor, especially a rookie point guard, because I don't think, no matter what happens, I don't think Stephon Castle is starting. Some of you think he might. If he's playing that great in summer league and preseason, he starts, great, awesome, start him. That would be just, I mean, that's a win-win. But point guard's a tough position. I still expect Trey Jones to start. If they sign Chris Paul, I don't know what that does with the pecking order for our point guards. Is Trey Jones still going to start? Is Chris Paul and Stephon Castle going to come off the bench and split duty? I don't know. Whatever happens, I'll be rooting for the Spurs. Let me know. Drop a comment down below your thoughts on all this news, because a lot has happened in this weekend from the last time we had a video. You happy about what looks like it's going to be re-signing of Mamu and Duke? Are you wanting Chris Paul to come to the team? Disappointed, and it looks like Barlow's leaving. And then if you know Riley Minix, what do you think? I'll post a link to the article from NBA Draft Scouting Report. Was that from Sports Illustrated? Sorry, that's from Sports Illustrated. There is a video of his highlights, but it's all from just one game. I watched it. He's got some skills, so we'll see what happens. Hope you had a great weekend. Thank you for tuning. Oh, like, subscribe, all that good stuff while you're commenting. Hey, this is all we ask for. This is our sponsorship. Your thumbs up. That's our sponsorship. There we go. Thank you, and as always, go Spurs go.
You know your place to Wembley.